all, hope you're doing well. If you're with me live, I hope you've had a good weekend. And if you're watching at a later date, hope you've a good practice and all as well with you also. This morning is our foundation Hatha, so that's our kind of beginner friendly, beginner accessible practice, and it'll be a shorter practice this morning. So our 30-minute practice. Be in whichever seated position is best for you. And if a seated position is uncomfortable to maintain for a few moments, a lying down position is welcome. So choose which is appropriate and best. If you're in a seated position, your main awareness is with lifting the spine, so it's sitting as tall as you can. Very comfortable, you can adopt a hand mudra, hand gesture, thumb and index finger together, one hand resting on top of the other. Or if you'd like to play around Hakini mudra, it's the tips of each of the fingers together. And you can allow the hands to rest closer to the legs if that feels good. But no force or fight, choose which is appropriate. If you're seated, sit as tall as you can. If you're in a lying down position, readjust the body to a point where you can feel like it's held and comfortable. Eyes closed and the mouth closed. And let's take a few moments to ready your eye and to create space for your practice. In an effort to really draw your awareness into the room, onto your mat. Take a few moments to check in through the physical body and the mind. How does the body feel? Any holding, any tension? What's the condition of the mind? Is it focused? Is it present? Just notice. When you're really checked in through physical body and mind, draw the attention upon the breath. And we'll simply experience the breath for a few moments at the very tip of the nose. Without trying to create, allow the breath to flow. Just experience sensation. The sensation for the inhale. And as the breath turns, the sensation on the exhale. Perhaps as you tune into the subtle rhythm of the breath, you can notice how cool the breath is on the incoming and the warmth of the breath as it moves out. Allowing your awareness to be completely consumed in the rhythm of the breath for a moment. The mind begins to wander, be patient, be compassionate with yourself each time. Bring it back. Notice those subtle differences between the incoming breath and the outgoing breath. Note the sensation. If you're in a seated position, please do remain as you are. If you've chosen lying down position, softly begin to stir. When you feel steady, perhaps coming to your side, then lightly pushing up, but no dizziness, take the time. Namaste mudra, if it's comfortable, palms to lightly press. Taking a moment to set an intention, a sankalpa, or dedication for your practice. Release your hands, chin to chest, and a few gentle blinks, opening the eyes. Namaste. We'll softly raise the knees up. Knees come nice and high, crossing over the legs if that's comfortable for you. Then knees come high, thighs in towards the chest. Please be aware, hands can be behind you as you need to, grabbing thighs or shins or wrists or forearm if it feels good. Then lift your spine. How tall can you sit? Set your chin just a little back, that mild double chin. And if you haven't already done so, begin to extend your breath into that little conscious effort into breathing. Your next exhale, softly turn your gaze to your right. Maintain even the chin drawn just a little back, And then turn gaze right. Note the length in the neck. Inhale through the center. How slow and steady can you move? And as you move into the exhale, turn your gaze to your left. Next inhale, back to center. As you exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. Note that there's no pressure, you're not moving into any points of discomfort, always within your comfortable limits. Your next inhale, move through the center and continue to elevate the chin. Think lifting the chin rather than dropping the head back. Beautiful, opening out from the throat. Beautiful. Next inhale, back to center, gaze ahead. Set the chin just a little back. As you exhale, right here, right shoulder. Note that it's a side fold, so try not to turn your gaze or turn the head. Maintain as a side fold as best you can. The left shoulder drawing down a little. As you inhale, center. Exhale to your left. Right shoulders relax. Breathe. Inhale, center. Smoothly coming back. Releasing the clasp of the hands. Dropping the knees down and readopting a cross-legged position or coming to a cross-legged position for the first time. Your legs can be out in front as you need to, hand support as required, don't force. As best you can, maintain a lifted spine, but try and keep the spine rather central as we get twisted. Your right hand to your right side behind, a little closer if you can. Left hand over the thigh as you inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, get a little twisted. Inhale back through the center. Exhale to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale back through the center. We'll release the hands out to the side, fingertips or the palms, almost in line with the hips. We'll keep the fingers grounded for a moment. And your next exhale, hinge to your right from the waist. You can allow your right hand to slide out, but only to the point that you keep the left buttock muscle grounded. As you inhale back, exhale to your left. Inhale back. If this variation is good, there is no challenge in your shoulder this morning, perhaps we'll include the elevating of the arm. As you inhale, raise your left arm up. Out to the side, shoulder height, flip the palm. Arm in line with the ear. Exhale, fold to your right. Inhale back. Exhale, release. Inhale right, raise the arm. Flip the palm in line with the ear if you can. Exhale, fold to your left. Inhale back. Exhale, release. Inhale the left. Exhale, fold. Inhale back. Exhale, release. Inhale the right, if it feels good, raise it and extend it. Exhale, fold. Inhale back. Exhale, release. Release the right. Raising the knees up. If it's comfortable, heels come closer to the bum. If it's a challenge, you can sweep the legs to the side, but if all is well, take the hands front, raise tall on the knees, then unravel the legs. Well, don't fight. Coming front in whichever way is required for you. Take a moment to set up. You're thinking eventual tension, shoulder over wrist. Fingers spread if that's a challenge, hands front as you need to, or make fists. Your knees are underneath your hips initially so you know your thighs are vertical, then wider from that point. So wrists, knees and toes in a straight line. Tops of the feet are grounding. Imagine there's a point in between the knees, point in between the hands. We'll move around these points in little circles, bringing together in a figure of 8. Starting with the lower limb, starting with the hips, make a half a circle. Starting at the bottom of that circle around a point. In between the knees, then make a full circle and point in between the hands. Then completing the bottom circle, bringing together the figure of 8. Start with smaller figures of 8. Real, controlled, more refined movement. You're just inquiring into your body's reaction. As you circle front, your shoulder, your wrist, your fingers as you circle back, your hip, your knee, even your ankle. Allow the breath to flow. And you keep the arms a little straighter. Then changing direction, once you complete your current rotation, A little challenge in the coordination. You start with the hips, smaller circles initially, and you build towards the bigger circles. Beautiful. Completing your current rotation. Back to center. Dropping your head down for a moment, looking in between your knees. The intention here is to keep the toes in line with the knees. If that's challenging for you, with the movement of pushing back, you could also bring the toes together. Little practice, endeavouring to maintain toe to knee alignment. Hands maintained where they are also. Your next exhale, there's no fight for depth. Smoothly push back. What's your action? Your ankle, your knee, and your hip. Eventual tension is sitting on the heel. Inhale, raising back up. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, raising up. If comfortable, tuck the toes, but don't fight the ankle or the toes as you exhale. Same movement. Inhale, elevating up. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, pushing back. It feels good, you're there. Can you keep the fingers well spread, particularly the thumbs? Very comfortable if the toes are tucked, or if they're not tucked, you come in a little sway side to side. If they are tucked, you're just coming to a little extra, an additional toe stretch. Loading the toes a little differently and a little varied. Beautiful. Come to rest with your little sway. As you inhale, return back up, shoulder over the wrist. We'll untuck the toes, bring the knees and the feet together, and take your hands wider. So take your hands to be wider than your shoulder. So if you have any challenge in the knee, any sensitivity in the hip or lower back, please take care. Don't fight for depth. All is well, however. Next exhale, drop your hips to your right. Hips drop to your right, but the left knee remains grounded, and both arms remain straight. Inhale, center. Exhale to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale. Be there for a breath if you can, but don't fight. Inhale. Exhale, left. Note the left arm is working a little straighter. What's the reaction? The outer left hip, no pressure on your knees. Inhale, center. Bringing the hands back into the original position of shoulder over wrist. The knees go a little wider, a lot wider rather. Knees in line with the wrist. Toes also come along, then push back. Taking rest for a moment. Not forcing for depth. Breathe. Looking at the fingers spread as wide as you can, and the palms entirely connecting with the mat. And softly raise back up. Shoulder over the wrist. A few gentle rounds of your tiger breathing. Nice, slow, steady movement through the spine. As you inhale, arch through the lower back initially. Then feel the middle back. The upper back. Draw your shoulders down the back so you slightly lift the head. As you exhale, head is lasting to release from your lower back, your middle back, your upper back. Shoulders still in the original position as you release your head around your spine. Inhale, head is lasting to lift as you arch and feel the lower back, middle back, upper back. Shoulders draw back as you slightly lift the head. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Very comfortable, be there for a moment. Push away the mat. Head is released if it's comfortable for your neck. Feel the response through the back of the body. Moving through the whole spine, working up through the neck and even the crown of the head. Inhale back to an easy spine. Belly drops slightly. Gaze returns to be a little bit front. Knees wider now. If it's comfortable for you, knees work nearly as wide as your mat. Big toes together and sit back as much as you can. Sitting on the heel is the eventual intention. First option is extending the arms front as far as possible without raising the hip even. Then forehead to mat. If that's a challenge, please stack the palms or stack the fists and have the forehead resting here, and be aware hips can be higher. No strain on the neck. Really, really well. If you are having the arms extended out in front, that's comfortable. Push away the mat lightly. Next inhale, lift the head, the gaze is front. Now you're welcome to remain where you are, but if all is well, we'll endeavour to make our way to a mild downward facing dog. Being aware that the distance between hands and feet is correct for the downward facing dog, so we'll endeavour to maintain that also. Your next inhale, raise the hip up. So you can be here, feels good however, take the feet to be shoulder distance apart, take the toes under, then raise the knee. Still good, push the hip up and back, but note that we're still maintaining quite a good bend in the knee. Being a mild downward facing dog, we're focusing more on spreading the fingers around the palms and encouraging that beautiful length in the torso. Really, really well, length in the spine. Now the intention from here is an effortless forward fold. If you find that challenging to approach from this current position, please ground the knees, come to standing whichever way is required, and play around with a top-down approach. All is well, however, keep the good bend in the knee, even bend them more. As you inhale, walk your hands back towards your feet, to a point where you can take all of the weight into your feet. Release the arms, arms heavy, the head is heavy. If your hands come release the mat, they're there. If they're up off the mat, that's beautiful work too. But don't fight for depth. Any dizziness, have the torso parallel or higher, and don't release the head. A few steady breaths. Super. Keep the bend in the knees. Next inhale, roll up to the lower back. Arms and head heavy. There's no rush. The middle back. The upper back, to take the time. There's no rush as you come all the way up. If you come up too quickly, you can get dizzy. So mindfully apply. Beautiful. Once you're up and you're feeling steady, I'll encourage you to turn to the long edge of your mat. So if you're not already there, turn to the long edge of your mat and we'll scoot more towards the right side. So long edge of the mat and towards the right side of your mat. Feet together, coming to Tadasana. So toes and heels to touch, spine is lifted, sharing the even weight between the feet. If the ankles are knocking in, it's uncomfortable, little distance between the feet, but toes always pointing ahead. Feels good, bring them together. Hands by the sides of the body, has the shoulders roll open a little. Recognize where your hips back, ribs back, chin a little back. So you can be here, this is beautiful work. Hands can come to the hips. If the shoulders are feeling fatigued or if you have any challenge in the shoulder or neck region, please keep the hands in the hips. Very comfortable however, shoulder height. Focus on the point in front of you for balance. Bend the right knee, lift the heel. Just feel the weight switch into the left foot. So already you're balancing. If this feels good, however, raise the right foot a little. Further practice, raise the thigh as high as you can. Be there for a few breaths. But note that beautiful length that you're maintaining through the spine. Trying to avoid leaning back or rounding in an effort to raise the thigh. Much more important to lift the spine. Exhale, release the right foot to meet the left. Release the hands. A life rolling over the shoulders, one direction and the other. Super. Back to center. Hands to the hips, all is well. Shoulder height, bend the left knee now, just feel the weight switch to right foot. Little practice, raise the left foot, still good, raise it high. Focus on your point, below the navel, base of pelvic, lightly active. This is your center of gravity. Beautiful. Just playing around with your practice, you can ground the left foot. If it feels good, a few steps or one smooth step, step the left foot quite a good distance out to the side. If it's a short step, go a few steps until you go wider. Good distance between the feet, heels in line, feet parallel, sternum is a little back, shorter distance if you need to, little practice the wider. The hands come onto the hips. All is well here. We're going to turn the left toes in a little. Pivot on the right heel, turn the right toes all the way up. Feels good, draw the left hip all the way around. Square hip and square shoulders towards the back for a man, or towards the short edge now. If we find this challenging for balance, step the left foot out wider, heel toe out wider towards the left edging of the mat, or right edging of the mat rather. Squaring of the hip, this is good here. A small bend in your right knee. Feels good, bending the knee to where it goes over the ankle. You're aware if it goes beyond, perhaps you increase the distance between the feet, or reduce bend in the knee. No matter what depth you're choosing with the bend of the knee, if it feels good here for your shoulders, extend your arms. In line with your ears, palms to press, breathe really well. If this is challenging for your shoulders, arms as low as you need to, and hands can be apart. Little practice here up. Feels good for the neck, you're lightly gazing to the thumb. Exhale, release the hands out to the side if you have the space. Straighten the right leg now. Feet back to parallel, making sure heels are in line. If you heel toe the left, the right foot out, making sure the heels come back in line before you change sides. This is good here, the right toes turn in a little. Pivot on the left heel. Left toes turn out. Drawing the right hip around. Square the hip and the shoulder. If necessary, heel toe your left foot to be close towards the left edging of the mat. Little bend in the knee. Feels good, a generous bend. Knees over ankle, thigh almost parallel to the mat. We'll work towards. Very comfortable, extend the arms front. As you inhale in line with the ear, palm to press. Very steady, no dizziness, no fight in the balance. Lightly gaze to the thumb, no strain on the neck. You're warrior one, breathe really well. Beautiful, this is good. Turn your gaze to be straight ahead, so drop the chin a little past the face front. You can come front in whichever way is necessary for you, but if you're just playing around with your practice and it's accessible, as you exhale, smoothly stretch front. Hands either side of the left foot. Pivot on the right knee. Pivot on the right toes even and ground the knee. And untuck the toes. All is well here. You can maintain as you are, but a very confident, softly raising up, placing one hand at a time on the left thigh. The intention here is bringing the right hip back over the knee. So softly back the hip up. Straightening the front leg, straighten the left leg to the point where the right hip is over the knee. Straight line across the hips, a slight tuck of the pelvis, and then a gentle push front. Reaction to be experienced on the front of the hip, even down the front of the thigh, and be there for a moment. If it's challenging for the balance, softly edge the left foot out to be wider, make a wider base. Chin a little back. Now if this feels good, take your left hand outside of the left hip. And the right hand reaches over and it's on the thigh. As you inhale, a little length. As you exhale, there's a little twist to your left. But don't fight. Very comfortable gaze follows, so please be mindful of the balance and no challenge presented on the neck. Inhale smoothly back. Stretching front, hands either side of the left. Then softly step the left back to meet the right. And step the right front now, but taking time, whichever way is necessary for you to get here. Apologies, I never mentioned the opposite side, but if you have any sensitivity on the knee, please do double over the mat to support the left knee now. Then gently raise up when it feels steady, both hands on the right thigh. Then back the hip up to where your left hip is now stacked directly over the thigh. Square the hip. And a slight tuck of the pelvis. So spine is lifting, ribs are back, chin is a little back. You're aware left foot can be heeled or right foot can be heel toed wider if required. Recognize the reaction, top of the left thigh, down the hip. Feels good. Keep this slight tuck of the pelvis. Right hand outside your right hip. Left hand hooks over the thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slight twist. Feels good, the gaze follows, but mindful of the balance, not suddenly moving. Light engagement through basic back. Inhale smoothly back. Stretching front. Hands either side of the right foot. Tuck the left toes, lift the knee, you can come back in whichever way is required. If it feels good, stepping right back to the left in the downward facing dog. Torso back towards the thighs. You can work a little now with more straighter legs, but if necessary, keep the bend in the knees. If required, you can keep the knees grounded, don't fight, you can be in the resting warrior. If it's very comfortable, keep the toes where they are. Bending the right knee, stretch the left heel towards the mat. The ball of the left foot is dragging the mat backward, really well, and the left heel is stretching towards the ground. With a light bend in the left knee now, and the right heel stretches towards the mat, and the ball of right foot is dragging the mat backward. And bend in both knees, gazes front. You can come front and bend your back whichever way is necessary for you. Little practice, however. Right knee, right wrist, shin diagonal. Left shin stacks on top. Then sitting back, and if there's no solid object behind you, you can roll back onto your back, and it's a light rolling side to side. Coming to rest with your rolling. Keep the bend in the knees. Welcome the soles of the feet to the mat. Hands on the sides of the body, heels into the fingertips. So feet are shoulder distance apart. Knee located over the ankle. Chin in a mild double chin. Actively push your feet into the mat as you inhale. Raise to lower, middle, upper back. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, slow and steady, push the feet lower, middle, upper back, beautiful expansion of the chest. Exhale, softly rolling down. Bringing the feet together, toes and heels to touch. Extending the left leg straight, bend the right knee thigh towards the chest. Left hand grabs outer edge of the right thigh if comfortable. Right arm out to the side, shoulder high. Palm facing down, straight arm or cactus arm with a 90-degree bend. Your next exhale, draw the right leg over towards the left side of the body. Very comfortable gaze to your right. Maintaining back and right shoulder grounded. Any challenge in the neck, please maintain the gaze upward. Inhale, center. Extending the right leg straight, hands over the sides of the body. Exhale the left, thigh in towards the chest. Grab the outer edge of the left thigh with the right hand. Left arm to the side. Exhale. Get nice and twisted. If comfortable, the gaze is now left. Cactus arm if there's a limited space. Or down by the side of the body is beautiful work too. Inhale, center. Exhale the right knee in to meet the left. Grab the legs, head towards the knees. Round the spine, next tight ball, tight as you can. Inhale, release. Release the neck. Release the legs. Release and rest in Shavasana for a few moments. Making all of the necessary adjustments as you come into Shavasana at the end of your practice. Adjusting the body to a position and a point that it's comfortable. Eyes closed and the mouth closed. Settle the body. And when you can feel that the body is beginning to arrive, all the movements beginning to subside, know that there is nothing more required of you. As you come to the end of your practice, allowing your awareness to softly begin to move through the body and just to note sensation and release and change is brought about by your practice. At the toes, ankle, knees, buttock muscle, whole of pelvic region, lower limbs, toes to hip, through the spine, shoulder blades, belly, ribs, chest, fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulder, neck, the whole of the torso, the arms and the neck. Through the face, the jaw, chin, nose, eyes, ears, forehead, crown of head. A response to be noticed through the whole of the region of the face and the head. As you become aware of the whole body. The whole body. The whole body. Notice the rest and the stillness brought about by our practice. From the toes all the way to the crown of head. If you have the time, perhaps you can continue with your Shavasana. If 30 minutes is your limit for your practice, perhaps you just begin to start. As you begin to engage the breath to be a little fuller. This engagement encourages movement of the toes, the fingers, up into head and neck. As you softly bring the feet back together, extending the right arm up and over, the left hand comes softly to the belly, and a fold, a bend in the left knee. And roll to your right. Once you feel steady, exploring any seated position where you can lift your spine, eyes closed. And allowing yourself a moment as you come to the end of your practice, it's to note any difference at the start of your practice. To that point where you checked in through the physical body and the mind. Any shift, any change. Rubbing palms. Placing the hands over the eyes, gently up. And extending the massage throughout the region of the face. And taking the hands a little away from the eyes. Gently blink the eyes open, gaze the palms. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you had a good practice. I hope the rest of your day goes well. I look forward to seeing you at your next practice. Thank you.